So here we have everything we need to put some edge banding on plywood. There's this edge banding, I got maple, but there's a few different other options you can choose. Then this Ketipet edge trimmer, and then this old school edge banding iron. I used all three of these to put edge banding on these drawers here, so let me give you a quick look at them and then I'll give you a quick demonstration. Alright, so first up is the edge banding. It's pretty thin. It measures about 7/8 of an inch wide, so you can do plywood all the way up to 3/4 of an inch. Then the bottom has this glue that'll melt when heat's applied. It's really smooth, there's no finish on it. Next we got the edge trimmer. It's just this solid piece of plastic with a metal plate attached. There's a cutter on either side, which is really helpful. You can go one way and then go back the other way. You can also unscrew it and flip it over and then use the two new sharp blades. Next is this edge banding iron. The ironing plate itself is a perfect size for edge banding. It has a small screen along with 3 buttons to control it, and then increase the temperature or decrease the temperature. Once you have it set where you want it, it'll blink a few times and then switch to the current temperature. And you can also change the degree unit from Fahrenheit to Celsius by holding down the on-off button for about 3 seconds. It came with this little metal stand you can set it on while it's heating up or you're not using it. It's super helpful. And then it also came with this sock that you can put over the iron so you don't scorch your wood. I don't like to use this because it makes heating it up take a lot longer, and I didn't really notice any scorching without it. But anyway, let me give you a quick demonstration using all these to put on edge banding. I'm just going to take the edge banding here, make it a bit longer than it, and then snap it apart. Of course, if you want to make it look a little nicer, you could use scissors, but we're going to end up cutting it off anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Take the edge banding iron and run it across it a few times, and it'll slowly heat up the glue on the bottom side of the edge banding and glue it to the plywood. And you want to make sure you're using a bit of pressure here so it seats nicely on the plywood. And something I like to do is to kind of take it at an angle like this on the edges, and that just helps give it a cleaner edge when I cut it. So now I'm just going to let this sit for a few minutes until the top is cool, and then I'll come back and trim off the edges. Alright, so the glue's probably set by now. I'm going to take this cutter and trim off the edges. That looks pretty nice. It's not perfectly flush though, so I like to take some sandpaper and go back along those edges to make it nice and smooth. And the edge banding I use doesn't have any finish on it, so I gotta go back and seal it anyway. And yeah, now the plywood looks a little more like a solid chunk of wood. Looks pretty nice. So yeah, this edge banding and these two tools here worked really well for me. I think I used them on about 24 drawers and then a few shelves. And yeah, if you get all these, you'll be all set up to put on edge banding.